Hi, and welcome to 4-Inch Cats. I'm Morgana. Today, we're going to be looking at using improvisation as a way to start composing your own tunes. Now, I know the word composition and the whole idea of composing music can be quite off-putting for some people. It's a bit scary. So if you think about it, composition is just an improvisation that you wrote down or you remember how to play. Improvisation, another scary word. Improvisation is just a fancy word for noodling or messing about. So we're going to mess about on our ukulele to come up with a tune. See, that doesn't sound so scary, does it? Now, with music, there are infinite possibilities of what you could do to compose a tune. So many notes, so many keys, so many key signatures, rhythm, timing. Oh, your head explodes, it's all too hard and you go and read a book instead. No, wait. So the best way to deal with having so many choices is to narrow the choices down. So for this example today, I'm going to be using 3 chords, D major, A major, and G major to start. I'm going to be using the key signature of 4/4 or 4 beats to the bar. I'm going to start off with arpeggios. Now, an arpeggio is just playing a chord one string at a time. Now, if you haven't seen any of my fingerstyle videos, especially my last video, quick one on which finger picking pattern should I use, I recommend that you go and check them out above before going forward with this video. It's not mandatory, but it will help. So let's get started. Our basic pattern: D, A, G. Now, just let me say straight off the top, on my baritone, when I'm playing G, the finger may change, and that depends on what I think I'm going to be doing around the G chord. So don't be put off by that. But if you're not sure what finger to use, I would recommend using the root finger or the middle finger, because then that allows you to reach around and do other stuff. So, D, A, G. It's a nice chord progression. We could try strumming it. Yeah, okay. Nothing exciting, but it's a start. So going back to our arpeggios. Let me try that again. There we go. And already it's starting to sound more melodic, or more like a melody, which is another word for a tune. Great! So it's a start. Now what? Okay, so let's go back to our D major. Arpeggio. Now we want to start adding more notes. Otherwise it's not really a tune, it's just a series of chords played as arpeggios. So for me, the most obvious place to add a note is to stick my little finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. And if I'm using my arpeggios, I get this. Now I happen to know that by adding my little finger, that gives me a D sus4. But we're not actually going to worry about the extra chords today. We're just going to think about where we can put fingers to make the difference, to give us a bit of melody. But I want to spice it up a little bit. So rather than doing D, D sus4, I'm actually going to do this. Now what I'm playing is 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string. When I get to the 1st string, I'm playing it as a regular G, that I'm adding my finger, and then I'm taking the finger off. So now, when I go to my A chord, can I do the same thing? Let's try exactly the same thing. Well, it works, but it's a little too different for me from the original one. So back to our D. Okay, let me try my A. This time I'm going to put my little finger on the 2nd fret. I like that. That's working for me. So let's try our G. Now my choice here, because I've already got a finger on the 3rd fret, I could try my 4th fret or I could try my 5th fret. So let's try both of them. I don't like that one at all. Let's try the 5th fret. I like that. And back to our D. So if we put that together, we get this. Which I really like. Now I want to stretch it out a little bit. I don't want the chord changes to happen so fast. So I could either slow the whole thing down, which could be a bit monotonous, or I'll add a 2nd bar, but what I'm going to do to add a bit of variation is not to add that extra note. It's easier to listen to than it is for me to explain it. So here we go. So you hear the difference? I haven't added that note in, but I've added a little bit of a pause. To our A. G. Back to our D. So that sounds really nice. But now we want to add a little bit more texture, a little bit more interest. So what I'm going to try and do is on my first arpeggio, I'll play my D, but when I play my 2nd, I've gone to the D7. Try this on the A. G. No. As my girlfriend Terry will know, I'm a big fan of G5. And it's not as different as going to the 7th, but let's see what that sounds like. I like that. And then back to my D. Now I didn't go to the 7th that time because it sort of completes the first set of chords. that's a really, really pretty beginning of a tune. So now what can we do? Well, we can expand the notes that we're adding to our arpeggios. So going back to our D, that's all right. So what I've done, now rather than going open first, third fret, open first, I've gone open third and then jumped up to the fifth. I'm already on the fifth for the G, so I can go up. So let me show that to you again. So I've gone, now rather than going back to the open string, I've gone third fret, fifth fret with my A. Again, rather than going an open string, I've gone up to the fifth. My G. Now we were already using the fifth for the G, so I'm going to go fifth up to the seventh. We might actually just want to finish that on the D. No extra finger. So let me put that together for you. Okay, now let's put both sections together. Okay, so I kind of mixed it up a little bit there without even thinking about it. I didn't do the second bars for the chords. But that's what improvisation is all about. And the heavens have just opened up here. I'm not sure whether you can hear the pounding rain or not. So I'm going to end part one here and come back a little later when hopefully the rain has died down. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to 4-Inch Cats Part 2. While I was waiting for the weather to clear, I could not resist playing around with the tune that we had so far. Let me show you what I've come up with and then I'll talk you through it. So, big changes, little changes. The biggest change I made was changing the chord progression from D, A, G to D, G, D, A. The other change I made was I changed my G to a G5 and I changed the finger picking pattern slightly. So I've gone from, which we did in the first half, to so we know that bit already. And then the second time, 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, and then when I get to the 1st string I hit 5th fret, 7th fret, back to our D, strum. Now I go to our A as we played it. Now I'm going to play a 7 by adding my little finger on the 2nd fret. Back to our D. And if you want to get really fancy, which is just 1st and 2nd string on the 10th fret. So let me play that one more time for you. D, D, D7, G5, D, strum, A, A7, D, 10th fret. There are certainly lots of other things you can do with this tune. Lots of other things you can do to compose your own tunes, but I think using chords and setting parameters is a really excellent way to start. So hopefully you've found that helpful and inspired you to start noodling, improvising as a way of composing your own tunes. If you have found it helpful, please leave me a comment below, and you know the drill. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so you don't miss any future 4-inch cats, completely off the cuff, chaotic, long part 1, short part 2 videos. So I hope you're safe and well, and until next time, grab that ukulele and start noodling.